Is it still? What's is like the graphics different from it? Like
it's all the same, pretty much.
So you'll still have like you can't see when you're running, so maybe enemies will collide into each other like retards and.
It's just like it's not like it's so bad you can't see right in front of you, but it's definitely tough. So Fragile Alliance is back. They're really cool. I like how it's done. They have you're with a team. And you go and you try to do a job. You try to steal $4 million in 4 minutes. And what you do is you have to work with your team. You get in, get the money, and you get out. But the thing is like you get more points or more respect or whatever online, though if you get more money. And you get more money by killing your teammates. And by killing, you can pick up their bags of money. And then that means your other teammates will try to kill you. And anyone who dies is going to come back as a cop, which means it's going to make it harder for them to escape. They're going to try to get money, slide some cash their way. It's all pretty cool. They have a lot of game modes like that. It's all about, just like Kain and Lynch don't trust each other, it's the whole same deal online. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good game modes. This is not a deathmatch, team deathmatch kind of game. It's very objective based, and it's cool. I never got to play it because no one's playing it. And of course, by the time the game comes out, no one will really be playing it either. But it is cool. From
what you saw with the multiplayer, I know you might not have gotten as much hands-on experience. Do you think the multiplayer might have a chance to save this game at all?
To save it, it's just gonna die. The game's not gonna be like a huge hit, and the multiplayer's gonna die with it. Yeah, it'll be short-lived. Fragile Alliance got good rep from the original game, but this game doesn't. I don't see Kain and Lynch with a huge audience, and it's not gonna be on there. It's good, It looks like good stuff. It looks like some great multiplayer. I would love to play it, but no, it's not going to save it. It's not going to make somebody buy the game. Not really. It is the only kind of game where you get an experience like that. You can't get this kind of experience with any other game outside the Kain and Lynch series, but this game will live and die, and it's just really unfortunate.
All right, so you've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not first, but you've heard it here.
A second perspective.
Yes.
I'm pissed.
Perspective Part 2. Alright, so next up we got Starcraft 2. Something that was
Thank God.
12 years in the making. Let's see if it's 12 years worth the wait.
Oh.
Just, when are we able to talk?
Okay. So, with the release of Starcraft, there's been a lot of controversies, with no LAN available.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I think there was some, like, with DRM.
Isn't it like the biggest thing from StarCraft 1 was LAN?
Well, with the Warcraft games and with some of the Starcraft things, it was a big thing to have LAN, but with the way piracy is getting and the way things are going, Blizzard ultimately has figured it wasn't smart to include that in their form of distribution.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
So I've heard that a lot of StarCraft 1 players aren't buying this game.
Everyone always says that.
Why are
when
we
you
doing
say,
why do we do
all right,
this shit?
can we just clear something up? All right. A lot of StarCraft 1 players aren't buying this. This game sold millions on the first day, and it's continuing to sell.
Yeah, I mean, there were Activision.
This is like
stuff
proof that
against
PC gaming is not dead, alright? You just look at the sales for this game, and
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, it's not like that's really gonna stop them.
Yeah. They'll still get StarCraft 2 regardless of their whining, so.
They'll get it eventually.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they
not
probably
the reason
already
not
have
to
it.
buy a game too. Like, come on. It's upsetting. You can be pissed off about it. But the internet was invented. Like, hello, you can still play StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
You can just go to your friend's house and just run off the same router. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Are you PC gamers or what? Think around the, problem here.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Exactly.
I never had hands-on experience with the original StarCraft, so I can't really compare the two. However, I'm having a lot of
I think
fun.
that's one thing we should sort of introduce, because me and you, Rans, we've been playing a lot of StarCraft 2.
A lot.
And, I mean, neither of us have played the first one. And I think that just goes to show how well-crafted of a game Blizzard's made this time around. I mean, prior to playing the beta, I hadn't really thought of getting the game. I considered it just because I generally like what Blizzard makes. But having played the beta, I was like really drawn into it. And then as I got the game, I'm pretty much got hooked. Like this, I don't know if I've really been this addicted to an RTS game in a long time, and it's just been a really, really great time playing it. And I'm glad I'm getting my StarCraft 2 fix right now because it's been a while.
Scalbar, you've played the first one. Well, yeah, and I think you played a little bit, had a little hands-on with StarCraft 2, maybe did a little beta.
Well, I played mostly the beta, yeah, and I've seen a couple things from the actual game, like a bunch of the cinematics, which are just like mind-blowingly awesome.
I know, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really addicted to the single player, the campaign.
But yeah, but probably one of my favorite things about StarCraft 2 is like you get to see like all the structures being built like as they're loading up, and so I just like to watch them be built.
Yeah, sometimes people will just ask, so how is this different from StarCraft 1, especially from like a multiplayer perspective?
Besides graphics,
if you just look at the game, if you go back and look at the original StarCraft, it's like
pixels.
2D pixels basically, and then you
all
look
done
at
on pixels pretty much.
When you take one of the most successful multiplayer RTSs and then take it into a much more modern context with new graphics and stuff, it gives it new life.
Yeah.
Just by doing that, but Blizzard has certainly done much more than that.
So I think one of the biggest questions put on this game is, was it worth the wait?
Definitely.
12 years.
I think that's one thing you really got to consider when you look at this game.
Depends who you are.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I don't give a damn. I would rather have made Diablo 3, because I don't care about, you know what I mean?
Going into it, I would have preferred them to make Diablo 3 as well. But, it's Blizzard is a very, very unique developer / publisher. And if you just think, there's not really many people who have the resources and the opportunities to do something like this. With the success of World of Warcraft, they're able to fund projects, and they're able to spend... They have 3 key franchises: Warcraft, Starcraft, and Hellcraft. Diablo. So, if they're able to make one of these games over a long span of years and still make it fantastic, that makes them one of my favorite developers. Because with those 3 franchises, they never disappoint, and they don't milk the franchise, to way beyond what it should. And when this much time goes into making this game, you can really see that,
a lot of hard work was poured into this.
Yeah, people who rush games out, especially strategy games, in a year or so, you won't be able to compete with StarCraft, because that's how much time and effort went into making this game great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to some StarCraft 1 players, and they said that there wasn't really that huge changes over the first one.
Yeah.
So
from a multiplayer perspective,
the only real difference was that they changed up the hotkeys. So that StarCraft 1 players didn't automatically have the big advantage.
But before we get into the multiplayer, because that's where we'll really be able to talk about that, the single player is where you definitely see some differences between.
Did anybody finish the single player?
I'm on the last level. I can't.
Oh yeah, so in here.
Yeah, I've been stuck on it.
I am I'm over halfway done. And I think we should just talk about that, because for anyone who's unfamiliar with the way it works, the single player basically is run through a hub world, which is basically this big ship known as the Hyperion, and you have a character, Jim Raynor, who is ultimately your character on that ship, and you'll have interactive cutscenes with the other characters you meet on that ship. And then from there, you'll choose your missions, and you'll
buy upgrades for your units.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very different from the sort of do an RTS level, have a cutscene, do another RTS level. You actually have a much more integrated world to interact with.
You can actually choose some secondary missions and stuff. Besides, you can follow the main story, but besides, other than how StarCraft 1 was there's more options to you now. There's 2 things. There's one upside and one slightly a downside to this thing, but it's definitely mostly an upside. I really like how they have the whole upgrading system and the whole choose your own path system in StarCraft 2. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is, in these missions, there's side objectives where you can unlock
new things for research, or you can get new credits that you can ultimately bring back to